Alright, it's been a while since I last worked on my saber, but we only have a few short steps left before we complete our saber, so let's finish this tonight. As you can see here, I have finished my Qui Gon saber here with a gloss black paint. I gave mine about 2 coats. Make sure that you spray underneath and on top of your slip joint washers, as well as for your grip pattern, just so that you have no PVC parts left and exposed. I gave 2 coats of gloss black paint, and I also gave 2 coats of clear enamel to set on top of this, just to give it a little more protection. Now once this paint has dried on your saber here, the top end of your emitter section here, all this epoxy that was poured in here is now painted silver. Once that has dried, remove the tape from your emitter ring, and if you see here on your emitter ring that you probably have some paint left towards the bottom of your emitter ring here, just right above your slip joint washers, use a Q-tip and some paint thinner just to remove that, so it'll give it a nice clean look. Now, as you may notice here, I already have my push button installed, and I also have my LED housing here installed too as well. All my wiring runs through the hilt down to a custom electronic board here. This board here is actually a voltage regulator, which I have regulated the voltage down from 9 volts down to 3.5 volts for LED operation. If need be, I'll send you the schematics and the parts that you could use to regulate your voltages. Now, if you look here where the push button is, just on the opposite end, up by the emitter, you're going to see that I have a hole here. This hole is going to be used to secure your lightsaber blade onto your hilt. Now this hole here is tapped and drilled for 8/32 screws. You could go with an 8/32 by 1/2 inch panhead screw, which is like the one I have here. And as you can see that I do have the tip here, the head here painted black, so it won't be that noticeable. So 8/32 by 1/2 inch screw. Okay, so now that we just have the basic part of the saber down, let's go to our metal handle. Now our metal handle here will require to be mounted onto our Qui Gon saber. So towards the back end of the saber here, you'll notice that I have drilled a hole here, and this is going to be used to attach a number 6 by 1/2 inch long sheet metal screw. Now what you want to do is to drill this hole, you want to go from the inside of your metal handle here and drill down. If you drill from the top, you're probably the drill bit may slip, and then it's probably going to slip off your handle here, ruin your paint job. So once you get this hole drilled, slip it over your Qui Gon saber. Alright, well, I slipped my metal handle over my Qui Gon saber, and now this is Qui Gon Jinn's lightsaber handle. Now it does fit in here pretty okay. It does seem like a pretty snug fit. It's not too tight, and it actually does look very good. Now I still have a little bit work left to do on here. Now if you have a Cobra Tech clip, if it's good, use it. What the screw that you will use, like I mentioned before, is a number 6 by 1/2 inch long sheet metal screw. What you're going to do is you're going to use that to attach your Cobra Tech clip onto your Qui Gon saber, like they did in the movies. If you don't have one, just use the number 6 screw just to hold the handle in place. Now, as you can see here, that in the back of my handle, that there is the hole that I mentioned before that I drilled. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to re-drill a hole here again, so I can drill the plastic out inside of my Qui Gon saber. So, like again. Just be careful just not to get any of the wires, and that your wires are clear beforehand. Okay. Now once I have that drilled all the way through, I can take my number 6 screw along with my Cobra Tech clip and mount it right to the back of my Qui Gon saber. Alright, now that I have my Cobra Tech clip in here, now my metal handle is secure to my Qui Gon saber now. Now what I would recommend doing is take your number 6 screw first and drill it first into your metal handle, into your PVC, so therefore it does get pre-threaded. Then remove your screw, then take your Cobra-Tech clip here and then install it into your into the hole that you just drilled out for your self-tapper. Now basically the saber is pretty much finished here. Let's get the blade installed and get a battery here. Let's try it out. Well everybody, here we are with my final product here of the homemade Qui Gon Jinn Lightsaber. Now as you can see here, I mean it looks very nicely done, very clean cut construction. It looks actually very professional and I'm very happy with the way how this came out. Just a last minute thing here just before we try this out. My end cap here is actually friction fit to the inside of my saber. What I did was I just took some electrical tape, put it on the coupling piece of my cap here, and I just pushed it in place here into my saber, so I have no screws holding this in place. I have my Cobra-Tech clip installed here. I have my fiber optic blade here mounted to my saber with a screw here. Now my screw here obviously is my 8/32 by 1/2 inch long screw. You can see I have it painted to kind of blend in with the saber, and the screw is actually holding the base of my fiber optic blade here on the inside of my saber. Now it's not much coverage, but in case if I want to add another screw in here later, I'll just put one right above it here in between these two slip joint washers. Well, now with my 9-volt battery already inside here, let's try this out. Nice. This looks very nice. I'm very happy with this. The LED is nice and bright. The light is pretty consistent throughout the saber, and I'm very pleased with this construction. The saber is probably only good for light dueling purposes or just as a showcase display. I would not recommend heavy dueling since it is only just plastic glued together. If you do plan to make this yourself, take your time with it, use common sense, think before you cut anything, measure twice, cut once, and be sure to use common sense as well as your protection devices for your eyes, ears, and hands. So if you have any questions, I can try and help you out to the best I can. But other than that though, it's all up to you. So good luck, may the force be with you.